Vikings hopefully will do a very, very good job tonight and win, and very, very exciting for the state of Minnesota. Well, folks, I just wanted to let you know about this bill that I'm bringing forth, and the time is running out on the Viking Stadium issue. We're running out of time. We've got to get this thing done, and there's no leadership anywhere to be found on this issue at the state of Minnesota. We did hear that Governor Pawlenty thinks that something has to be done, and that's a good thing, and we should be moving forward with something. But when we talk to other legislators, they're kind of sticking their head in the sand. Nothing's being done. Well, we have a proposal here that's a little bit of a twist on a couple of different ideas, some of which I've had in the past. We all know that I had this bill back in March to create a casino that would build a Viking stadium. But that is kind of an expansion of gambling, and that's what people have been telling me, that building a new facility in the Twin Cities metropolitan area is an expansion of gambling. Well, this idea is simply a constitutional amendment that would create a Racino in the state of Minnesota. Actually, two Racinos in the state of Minnesota. We have two racetracks, and we could have two Racinos, and dedicate the revenue that we would receive from tax revenue on the gaming at the new Racinos to building a new Viking stadium. Now, I had some copies of this chart in the back of different Racinos built across the country and the various ways that that money is being spent. It goes for education, it goes for infrastructure. They dedicate the money for various things. And this bill says that we take the tax revenue from that gaming and we would dedicate it to building a new Viking stadium. No taxpayer dollars involved whatsoever, other than the tax dollars on the gaming. If you don't like supporting a new Viking stadium, you don't like gaming, don't go to the Racinos and don't play the games, and you don't have to contribute. Quite simple. But if you look at the amount of revenues on this chart that Racinos bring in, you can see that any kind of debt service on building a Viking stadium could easily be taken care of. They've got it all broken down here. You can go to the American Gaming Association's website and check it all out. So my proposal is just to put on the ballot in the next general election, let's ask the people if we're going to allow Racinos in the state of Minnesota and dedicate those tax revenue dollars received from the revenue collected from those Racinos to build a Viking stadium and see if they approve it. Now, I think the Star-Tribune I know the Star-Tribune did a poll in March, and I think it was 80-some% approved of the casino idea. Now, we have existing facilities at these Racinos that are already doing card games, pari-mutuel betting, those kinds of things, already at these facilities. Just adding slot machines is a great way to bring the revenue to the state of Minnesota to get this job done. This is not the time to just sit back and say, I haven't thought about what we're going to do about the Vikings. We have to do something about this issue. We have to build a stadium, and my constituents are telling me I don't want taxpayer dollars going to build a stadium, but I also don't want to see the Vikings leave. This is a perfect solution. I'd take questions.
How many Racinos would you have, and how many slot machines each one?
Well, that is not in the bill, but that's to be determined, and we can do that with legislation after we get the constitutional amendment passed. I think we need to take this to the people and let them decide on whether we're going to allow it or not, and then we can pass legislation after that. We could pass this along with corresponding legislation this year if we need to, but I think we should get this approved by the people first, come back in the next legislative session after that, put the bill together on how we're going to create it, how many slots we're going to allow at each Racino, those kinds of things. Work those details out later. But let's see if the people approve it first. Any other questions?
If time is such an issue here, isn't the constitutional amendment route kind of a long journey here?
I wish we could have done this last legislative session, but they always say, well, let's do it in the last year of the biennium. That's where they always seem to do these constitutional amendments. They don't even want to look at them in the first year of the biennium. Time is running out, but we do have time to do it. After the 2011 season, I believe, is when the contract runs out for the Vikings, and I think that we do have time to do it. We approve this by the people, and then we come back in the next legislative session, we put together the package, and the Vikings can play at the new Gopher Stadium until we get the new stadium renovated, or a new one built.
How much do you think could be raised annually?
If you look at this chart, I'm predicting that for sure you can cover the debt service, which is, I think Mr. Bagley said that the debt service would be approximately 50 million, and if you look at the chart here, that all these Racinos would easily cover that. That wouldn't be a problem whatsoever, and I think it would bring in a lot more than that. And then we could retire that debt, and then according to this bill that we have here today, the rest of the money would go to the general fund after that.
What makes you think that the Racino is a more attractive idea now than over the years when it's been kind of cast aside during these times?
Well, the Racino idea has been cast aside, but it's one of I had the casino bill, and that gets no traction whatsoever. We have had votes on the House floor on Racino, and some of those bills have passed. I think it's the right thing to do, and I think it's an issue out there that people know about, and I think people would approve it. We already know that the voters out there would approve of the idea of having a casino build the Viking Stadium, and I think it's even makes it even more palatable by doing it at the existing racetracks. It's not an expansion of gambling that way. It's not building another casino somewhere. We already have card games, betting going on, and pari-mutuel betting going on at these facilities. I think it's a win-win for everybody. This is going to create jobs, folks. This is going. We build this stadium, we're going to have more and more jobs in the state, and you know, the Twin Stadium is done now, and the Gopher Stadium is done. We need jobs, and we're hurting for jobs. This is a perfect way to solve a number of different issues in the state of Minnesota.
Obviously, by going in this direction, the governor wouldn't have to take any kind of action on this proposal, but do you want him to put his heft behind this, or have you asked him to put his heft behind?
I have not talked to anybody. I haven't talked to the governor. I haven't talked to the Vikings. I haven't talked to the Canterbury people or Running Aces. I haven't talked to anybody about this bill or this issue at all. I did talk to some folks in the Senate about carrying the bill in the Senate, but those are the only people I've talked to. I haven't touched base with anyone else. Of course, I would like to see the governor get on board with it. Haven't talked to him. I don't know how he feels about the issue. I know, well, like we all know, we heard him say last Friday that he does think something has to be done. And I think everyone knows that most people do not want taxpayer dollars going to build another stadium.
You said you've talked to some people in the Senate. Who have you talked to, and what is their reaction?
I'd rather not say. They are considering carrying the bill in the Senate, but haven't decided yet, so I'd rather not say.
Do you think that there's any level of public support, because this has been a case of a lot of stadium issues, that the team right now enjoys a successful season? Do you think that is an impetus for a bill like this, or do you think the winning team or non-winning team makes any difference?
Well, of course, having a winning team is a huge plus, and having Brett Favre here is a big plus. And I think you know, you see more and more excitement from the actual citizens out there that are in favor of the Vikings and not seeing them leave. So of course, that is a huge plus. But either way, I think if the Vikings were winning or not winning, I don't think anyone wants to see the Vikings lose or leave. And I think they're a huge economic asset to the state of Minnesota, and I don't think anyone wants to see the Vikings leave the state of Minnesota.
Are there any other, pardon my ignorance on this, are there any other than non-metro racetracks that participate in something like this? Or the only racetracks?
Well, no, I don't know about that. I mean, all I know is we have Canterbury and we have Running Aces, and I think those are the two that can legally do this sort of thing at this time. That's why we talk about those in the bill.
Based on your earlier conversations with leaders, do you think you have a reasonable chance of getting a hearing on this thing?
Well, you know, I don't know the answer to that. I know that they didn't favor the casino idea because it was an expansion of gambling. But this is not, I don't know how anyone could consider this an expansion of gambling when we were doing it at an existing facility that already does other types of gaming. I know we have tribal gaming, and they're expanding all the time, and they build on and they expand, but that's not called expansion of gambling. They're adding more machines all the time, that sort of thing. but that's not called expansion. So I think doing it in an existing facility, I don't know how we can call it expansion of gaming. I think it's a great idea, a way to go. I don't know why anybody wouldn't go along with this idea when the people of Minnesota want to do it.
Why haven't you talked to the team? Don't they have to be on board?
I haven't called them. I'm certainly available to talk to them. If they want to talk to me, I'm here. They did not contact me on the casino idea. Maybe it's an issue with sports teams, professional sports teams versus gambling and combining the two. Maybe they want to stay away from it for that reason. I don't know. I've not talked to them.
Would there be any league concerns about this at all?
Not that I know of, and I would think that, with the different ideas and the different concepts I've come forward with in the past, that somebody would contact me, and they haven't contacted me. So I don't think there's any concerns, and I haven't heard of any.
Does your bill address where the tax revenue would go after?
Just to the general fund. Not dedicated to anything, just directly to the general fund to be spent on anything.
So the presumption is after the bonds are retired in 20, 30 years, the money would just go for...
That's specifically what it says in the bill, that it would go to the general fund. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Thanks for showing up today, and hope the Vikings win.